Okay, what up, what up, what up? It is Miesha here, back at it again with another video, also known as the Bulls Budgeter. And today we're going to do something a little bit different and look at this budget that I created with one of my clients. So these are all of her real numbers. However, we just changed out her name for privacy and to make sure that she stayed anonymous. So we are just going to call her Naomi. So we're going to start off with her values because that's really important with understanding where we want to go in terms of her goals. So her values are her family, specifically being able to help her family when they're in need, faith, charity, right? And she wants to donate more outside of her church, self-care, and experiences. So she wants to be able to experience new things without the stress of money. So now this brings us to her goals. So her goals are to save $4,000 to help out her mom, to pay off her credit card debt, to max out her Roth IRA, and to save for a home. And these are the short-term goals. We're thinking anywhere between 1 and 5 years. So originally when we started this process, her goals were to buy a house, pay off student loans, and to pay off her car. But after going through her numbers, it really didn't make sense, and we'll get more into that later, why we kind of honed in on these ones. Now, looking at her income, she makes $59,122 gross per year, which lends us to about $3,088 a month and results in her getting $1,544 every 2 weeks. So this was her budget for, this is her budget for August, and we're using all of the numbers that she's been using. So as we see, her housing, her rent is $557, her supplies for her house, which includes cleaning supplies, toilet paper, tissue, etc. is $50. Transportation, we have her car note, $396, gas, $200, Easy Pass, $30, insurances, car insurance at $224.50, life insurance, which would be term life, would be $19.71. Her tithes, which is to her church, is $308.92. Utilities, so her cable, $124.82. So as you can see, her budget, we broke it down by category instead of fixed versus variable expenses, just because this is just what worked best for us in this predicament. So what I want us to do right now is to come and look at her savings, because this is where we're going to see a big change in the next month. So she has a general savings of $19,685.58, excuse me. So all this money is together in different pots without really any clear goal. Then she has specific money in a different savings account for her birthday for $1,877. She also has in her Roth right now $1,175. She has a balance on her credit card for $484.34. This is for last minute airline tickets. And then her credit card debt, she owes $2,810.19. And her minimum payment is $87 a month. So based off of all of these expenses, her total amount spent is $3,063.28, which leaves us with $24.72 left. So based off of this, we're in a good way, right? She's not spending more than she makes. So A+ there. However, we're not really hitting on any of these numbers, right? We're not getting that work done. At $1,175, this is going to be a hard thing to pull when we only have $24.72 left over for her to be able to max this out at $6,000 by April 15th, 2023. Moreover, there isn't much room either to go towards her mom paying off or helping her mom out with the $4,000 or the ability to pay off that credit card debt. So just to add a little bit more context, I said that we made some changes with her goals after looking at her values and really what she prioritizes. Now that came at her car note is $396 a month, but the interest on this was only 1.99%, which is extremely low. And after doing the math, her car, she owes a little bit over $18,000. It would only be $746.76 over the life of the loan that she's paying to borrow that money. And now that a recession is looming, I just rather her keep that money in her investments or in her savings instead of spending it when there's just such a tiny interest rate. Mathematically, it just doesn't make sense. And she's comfortable with that. Now, if she was someone who didn't like debt and wanted to get rid of debt, then that's something that we could address. But she had more pressing goals, like helping her mom save for the $4,000, paying off her credit card debt, and maxing out her Roth IRA. And unfortunately, she would not be able to do all those things and pay off her car note. So that just wasn't something that we wanted to do. Additionally, she wants to save for a home. I'm going to put an asterisk here because this is going to be more of our 5-year goal. Everywhere else here, these are going to be our 1-year goals. And then once we're done with this stuff, we can really put more of our energy and focus on saving for a home later. But right now, our priorities for this first year are going to be that $4,000, paying off that credit card, and also helping her max out that Roth IRA. In order for us to reach this $4,000 within a year, she would need to save $333.34 a month. To pay off her Care credit card debt, she would need to put away $468.33 a month. And in order to max out her Roth IRA, which is $6,000 by April 15th, she would need to put away $603.13 a month. And this is due by February 15th. Okay, so those are our numbers that we're working with. Anyone can tell, right, that we are not going to be able to hit these numbers based off of what we see for this budget for August. However, something that I want us to be mindful of is this 2-week pay period comes into play because there are certain months where she will get paid 3 times instead of twice. And those are what we want to use to our advantage and for an opportunity to make some big gains. So I'm going to show you, y'all. I'm going to show y'all the difference in her budget from August to September. So as we see here, there are no changes in housing, transportation, insurance, and giving. But we see our first change here where we see eating out. So I took her from $150 to $100, a difference of $50. And that doesn't seem like the biggest deal, but when you're trying to take something out of your budget or make a change, we don't want it to be too drastic, right? We want to give you the opportunity to be successful. So that's why $100 is still a lot maybe for eating out, but it gives her the opportunity to be successful, which really matters. Additionally, her savings, we broke these up into different categories. So now we're not having that big pot. Instead, we now have an emergency fund of $15,658. Now, she does have a stable job, so this is 6 months worth of emergency fund. However, she has the option that if she decides she wants to get it down to 3 months, that's perfectly fine. I'm just going to put it at 6 months only because we are headed into a recession or might be in one already. So I'd rather be safe than sorry. And because it's already at 6 months, we're only going to put $10 a month towards it. This isn't really about the number. It's more about the habit. Okay. So I talk about this all the time, but the habits really, really matter. And even though it's only $10 at some point, right, her income's going to increase. She's going to want to buy this home, which is going to cost, you know, a little bit more with her mortgage and insurances and roofs and all those other things. So she's going to have to save again to beef up this emergency fund. And I want her to be used to the habit, even though it's only $10. Birthday, we have no room. So unfortunately, we're still putting nothing towards this birthday fund unless we come into some extra income. Since that is not happening right now, we're just going to leave this at 0. Now, this is where it gets awesome. So remember before how I said for her to be able to pay this $4,000 in a year, for her mother, she would need to save that $333.34 a month. Bam, we have this checked off. So if she keeps with this budget, she'll be in a good way. Additionally, we know that she likes adventure. In her last budget, we saw that she booked that $500 trip last minute. So we want to give her a little bit of space here because she has some extra income in September so that she can do something spontaneous and still have fun and still hit that goal of those experiences of wanting to experience new things. And she included like even going to a new coffee shop. So $100 should really cover that, as well as she still has this $100 within her eating out. So she's still hitting off those things that are important to her. She has a wedding that's coming up. She actually has two. So we put $200 away in a sinking fund for her wedding funds, for one that's coming up in September and one in November. And here, because of this extra pay period in this month, we are literally putting almost her full check into her Roth to help her catch up. So we're putting $1,525 into her Roth IRA. And what this is going to do is she already had that $1,175 in her Roth. So now we're going to have a really nice space to add to this. Additionally, you guys are probably wondering, what happened to the other $4,000 that came from this emergency fund? This is where it gets fun. So because we have our 6 months of emergency fund and inflation is kicking our butts, we want to make our money work for us. So what I did, and what you'll notice here, is we are going to get rid of this credit card debt. So we're going to take that $4,000 and we're just going to X out of this credit card debt, which means that we get to already check off this, pay off the care credit card. Boom. One goal already done. Actually, I'm going to X that out because doing that. Additionally, the extra money left over from that is going to be $1,190. So I'm going to add that here because that money I have suggested for her to put that towards her Roth IRA. So that's $1,190 plus what was already there, which was the $1,175. So if we add up all three of those numbers, we come out to a total of her Roth now being at $3,890. Like, wow, right? This is all for making those small changes where now she's halfway there, more than halfway there, in order to reach that goal by April. Something else I want to point out is that we are still in a good way not spending more than we have because we have $20.73 left. So the leftover money is going to be just to give her some wiggle room. And I'd also suggest, because she does want to give more money, especially more outside of her church, is that whatever is left over, I suggest maybe taking $5 and keeping that in just singles. So if she comes across someone who is, let's say, homeless, she can give that money in singles. And that's her building, again, that habit of building outside of her church. So I'm not sure why that's not here, but on her Excel or Google Sheets, that's there. So we're going to put a blessing and we'll make this, let's do anywhere from $1 to $5. Okay. So then this means that the leftover here will be anywhere from $19.73 to $15.73. Excellent. Okay. So we're in a very, very, very good way. So some of you might be thinking, okay, well, duh, she got an extra pay in September, but how is this sustained? We're going to go into October. So in October, we will see some changes here that we are excited to see. Okay. So we are still in alignment with keeping our emergency fund fully stacked. Birthday, we still have. Our mommy, which was a priority for her, is still getting hit. This adventure was a mistake. This shouldn't be here. So we're not doing anything for adventure this month, but we are still going to put $50 towards that wedding fund because, again, there's 3 weddings and one more is coming up in November. So we want to have enough wiggle room there. And our Roth, we're not doing that really super big number that we did before. Instead, we're going to do $230. And that $230 will, again, build that habit of consistent investment. Now, if she does that $230 on top of what she already has for when she starts out October, which would be that $3,890, she will not hit the $6,000 mark by April. However, this puts her in a really good position to be able to get some extra income to want to invest that. Additionally, this birthday fund, I suggested maybe doing an all-inclusive trip, or maybe even doing something like in the cabins in the Poconos or somewhere where she can bring that cost down, where she doesn't have to spend all of this money. If she's able to spend $1,000 and pocket that $877, that would be more than enough to completely fund her Roth IRA. Now, I don't want to take this birthday money because that's what it was saved for originally, but it does give her some options if she decides that this is more important to her in the short term for this year. But at least 2 of the 3 of her main year goals will definitely get done if she follows this budget. Additionally, she will be so stinking close to maxing out her Roth IRA. In fact, she would have $5,270 in her Roth by the time she gets to April 15th following this method. Now, again, if she was to get any extra income or take some money from this birthday fund, she would be able to max that out. So that is still a possibility. But with this budget, following this budget, we will be able to make sure we have that $4,000 for her mom, which was a priority in a year. We've already paid off her Care credit card debt, right? From our savings that was just all jumbled up. We want to get rid of that high interest debt. And then we're super close to maxing out this Roth IRA. And with slight changes, I mean, I'm talking even going back to this eating out budget and maybe slashing this a little bit, we could get there. So I don't want to overwhelm her with too many changes right now. So this is what we're going to go through. But after after November, we're going to come back together and see what little changes we can make to really focus in on this maxing out this Roth IRA, because that would be ideal if we can get her to hit all 3 of these within a year. And then we're going to keep that asterisk by saving for the house, because once we have that extra room for that $4,000, after we help out her mom, we can then roll this money over into her savings for her down payment. All right, I'm bringing back her budget and her values. So let me do it this way so we can see. I want to make sure that we are in alignment, right? We have financial alignment in our budget. So we know that she values her family. And then here we have this right here, right? This is in alignment right there, supporting her mother. We also know faith is important to her, and she wants to donate a little bit more outside of her church. So here we go. So we're going to bring this up, and we have our blessings. And again, although it's only $1, it is still in alignment because it's more than outside of her church. And as we get more and more comfortable with this budget, we can make different changes. I just want to make sure that it's all, sorry y'all, that it's all being caught on camera. Okay. So faith, giving, we have that down. Perfect. Okay, up next we see we have self-care up here. And for self-care, a reason I didn't touch the massages is because, again, this is something that falls under things that she cares about. So massages, even hair. And again, hair is something that she can do her own hair. It's something that we can revisit again in November, because maybe we can take this down to $75 or $50 and roll more of this over into the Roth. So that's even another option, right? So we have a couple of options in terms of her eating out and her hair and massages to make some slight changes that could really impact this. But self-care is a value, so we're going to keep that there. And then the last one on the list is experiences. So the eating out budget, again, I'm going to, here we go, is experiences. So here we go. And that is why I didn't fully take out this eating out budget, because we want to make sure that she's still able to experience things. Like she said, going to a new cafe or going to a new restaurant, all of these things would allow her the opportunity to really have new experiences. Also, remember, in September, right, we have this $100 for adventure. She can tap into that as well to really make sure that she's getting those experiences. So this is what we have. This is a transformation from August to not being on track to kind of hit those goals, where in a couple of months difference, we have built a consistent plan and budget that will enable her to hit her 1-year goals and also to spend and budget within her values. So if you have any questions, please just let me know. Also, if you have some numbers that you want me to run through and to let you know, I would be more than happy to do that for you as well. But in the meantime, in between time, stick to your budget in the best way you know how. Stay blessed. Peace, 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 peace.